All right, fellas, this is going to be a very short video on how to increase your testosterone. Testosterone. It's a fundamental one, something that's going to increase your muscle mass, something that's going to build competitive drive, increase your quality of life, improve the amount of fat you lose. And it's something you really want to be looking at if you're struggling to grow muscle, struggling to get to where you want to be, and struggling to lose any body fat. It all starts with testosterone. So, these are your bread and butter to start with. It's going to be heavyweight training. So if you're not in the gym and you're not training heavy, you're already at a disadvantage. You need to be pushing it. That's number one. And I'm sure you've already got that down. So I'm going to show you where you're actually going wrong. And it's probably your sleep. Somewhere along the way, we were told 6 hours is okay. It really isn't. 6 hours is enough to destroy your testosterone, plummet it. 8 hours is a minimum. And you'd be surprised how many people do not sleep 8 hours. I didn't before as well. I've recently started sleeping 8 hours and I've watched my quality of life improve. I feel better. My cognitive function is there. But I'm growing more muscle and I'm putting on lean muscle mass. I'm not gaining any fat as much as I would if I was sleeping 6 hours. But the gains are very, very noticeable, and it's something that you want to be looking out for. A good thing you can look at is using a Whoop or an Apple Watch just to track that. But we'll talk about that very shortly. Sleep is really important. Now, that needs to go alongside a clean diet as well. No processed food, nice, organic, grass-fed, free-range, clean food. That's high in protein, high in fats. That's your bread and butter. Now, why focus on testosterone? Well, it's simple. More energy. You're going to have more energy. If you have more energy, you can do more. If you can do more, you get to where you want to be quicker. Okay? More confidence. You must have seen this if you've been training a while. Eventually, once you get 2 years under your belt of solid, consistent training, you feel confident. I don't know about you, but when I was training 5 times a week for the space of 2 years, I felt like I could run through walls. I'm not even joking. I just felt fucking amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need higher testosterone for confidence. If you are lacking confidence, you are doing something wrong, and it could be your testosterone. So that's something to look at. Again, muscle mass. If you hit a plateau and you don't understand why, you're doing all the training, you're doing all the eating, testosterone might be low. You might not have the facilities to grow the muscle mass in the first place. Next, higher sex drive. If you don't have that, then it's clear that you have a low testosterone. So that's something, again, you need to look at. Fat loss. This is one that's not talked about, but if you are doing all the tricks, you're sleeping right, well, chances are you probably aren't if you've got low testosterone, but there is a study, very, very simply, that states the man or woman who sleeps for 6 hours loses around 50% less body fat as opposed to the person who sleeps 8 hours. Now, I know that sounds like a crazy stat, but if you put it into perspective, it's bang on. It's only 2 hours, but that's 2 hours every night. It's 14 a week. I'm not going to bother with the monthly calculation, but do you know what I mean? It is a vast amount, and you can tell. A lot of people lie to themselves and think they can survive on 6 hours because it's a social norm. It really isn't. You feel like shit in the day. It takes you 3 hours to wake up. I sleep 8 hours. I'm ready to go. So you need to look into this. 8 hours sleep is really, really important, and you do that right, you're gonna find it really easy to melt fat and gain muscle. That's what it is. And again, competitive drive. I think, like I said at the start, more energy. You feel like you can run through walls. That is why it's so important to have a higher testosterone. And I think we all need a competitive drive because it's where greatness is built. If you don't want to do more and you don't want to be better than yourself, maybe or the next person, then how are you going to achieve anything? So that's why we should focus on it. Now, how do we test it? Well, if you're in the UK, you're lucky. You have the NHS. Everything is free. I test mine once a month, every 2 months as well, normally. And the normal range is 300 to 1200 nanograms per deciliter. Now, when I first checked this, I was on 330. So, I was thinking maybe could be a play. Fucking plummet that shit. Get on the test. No, I increased it all naturally, following the tips I'm about to show you. And I got to a point where I'm at 900 now. 936. I'll try and get the proof to show you, but it's fucking crazy. All right, what you can do naturally. A lot of bodybuilders take steroids to increase their testosterone, but the point is, you want to maximize how much you can do naturally. By all means, if you want to do steroids, go for it, but don't underestimate what you can do naturally, and that's what I'm about to show you now. So, number one, sleep. We've talked about this. Anything below 8 hours will destroy it. So your goal is to find out what you are doing in the evening that is stopping you from getting 8 hours. Because the point is, you can just go to bed earlier. You can. I don't care how busy you are, you can go to bed earlier. The reason why you can't is because you were doing stuff in the evening that is stopping you from going to bed earlier. So you need to sit down with yourself and optimize, right, what am I doing in the evening that is causing me to go to bed late? Because it is as simple as just going to bed earlier, all right, or waking up later. But chances are you probably have a job that starts at 7, 6 a.m. in the morning. So you need to be in bed by 10. That's what you got to figure out. Once you get that done, you're going to start to sleep 8 hours. Now, it could be a case of a lack of quality. And that's where magnesium and zinc comes in. These are your bread and butter before sleep. I keep both kind of, how do I say it, tubs of magnesium and zinc next to my bed. And I just take them before bed. Sometimes a bit of chamomile tea. If I had a bit too much caffeine, I have a chamomile tea. It sedates you naturally. And it really sets you up for a great sleep. It increases the quality. Now, if you haven't been good with sleep, if you're really struggling, I suggest using something like Whoop. Whoop is £30 per month, and it will basically track your sleep to a letter. I'll be honest, it's the best one. Like, you can do it with the Apple Watch, but this is just ridiculous. It will tell you your recovery scores based on your sleep, and it will track everything down to your REM, your deep, your light, and your awake time. Now, again, you don't need this forever, but it will give you a really good idea of where you are in terms of sleep and why you are suffering. That's the best thing I gauge from it. I realized that I was sleeping 8 hours, right? So I was going to bed at 11 and I was waking up at 7, right? But I'm awake on average for 48 minutes per night because obviously it takes time to go to bed. You wake up a little bit at night. So I'm actually getting 7.5 hours sleep. And I noticed that my HRV was becoming lower, which basically causes less good sleep, right? And essentially, it just gave me a really good understanding that, if you want 8 hours, you need to be sleeping 8.5 hours. Little tricks, and there's metrics you can track, such as what happens if you have caffeine past a certain time, what happens if you have alcohol. You'll notice how much alcohol fucks up your sleep once you start using Whoop. I swear to God, if you have 1 pint 2 hours before bed, your sleep is shit. Yeah, it will sedate you. You'll go to bed fine. I know it's not even enough to get you drunk, but the point is, it interferes with your REM sleep, which is essentially what you use to restart your brain and to download all things you've learned from today. So don't drink alcohol, for example, before sleep if you want good quality. Now, another one, don't eat 2 hours before bed. You eat a massive 500, or no, let's see, 800 calorie dinner before bed. Your body's going to focus on digesting, which means your heart's going to be beating. You're not going to be going to bed. It's not great. You know what to do with that one. Stop eating. Last one, avoid screens before bed. Now, I do this all the time. I watch Netflix until I go to bed. However, I have blue light glasses. So, yes, it's not the best habit. You could use blue light glasses if you want to do this, but to be honest with you, I have started getting to the point where I don't use my laptop in bed anymore. I've started to read for like 20 minutes. I then brush my teeth for another 10. And it means for the half an hour before bed, I'm not using my screen because it makes sense. Your body awakens when it sees light. When you see the sun, you get sunlight in your eyes, it starts to wake you up. And the problem with this artificial blue light from the screens is it does the exact same thing. So it's not the best thing before bed. You want a dark room, something that's going to slow you down. So that's how you're going to be optimizing your sleep. Then you want to optimize your training. So, like I said at the start, you want to lift heavy. Now, I want to constitute what heavy is, right? We're not doing powerlifting, okay? We want to gain muscle here. That's what I'm assuming we want to do, right? So we don't do the 3 to 4 rep range because that's going to gain strength. It's very easy to gain strength without muscle. We don't want that. And we don't want to be doing 12 to 15 because if you're doing a weight for 12 to 15 reps, you're clearly not lifting heavy enough. 6 to 8, that's the magic number. We progress in a 6 to 8 rep range and we lift as heavy as possible. And that simply lifting as heavy as possible will boost your testosterone. Focus on the compounds, your bench, your squat. I'm not big on deadlifts, but you're talking your military press. Those big exercises that demand a lot from you. There's a study that shows why you should never skip legs, and it's literally half your body. Leg exercises demand so much that they actually result in increased amount of testosterone and human growth hormone in your body to compensate for the growth that is needed for those legs. So that comes from doing exercises like, squats, deadlifts, don't like them, but they are good. Leg press, all of these heavy exercises that make you want to throw up and pass out. That's what you need to be doing. That's your basics. Now, this is not talked about a lot, but get your rest and recovery. Less is more when it comes to the gym, especially when it comes to growing muscle. Quality over quantity. So if you're doing 6 days a week and your goal is to build muscle, the chances are you're not going to build much muscle because you're not training hard enough if you can train 6 days in a week. Do you see what I mean? It should be a case of 4 days a week. That's what I personally train. And that rest is when your muscle is being built. That's when, the hormones are going back to normal, when the testosterone is going to be starting to be produced, it's going to be produced in your sleep. But if you're not giving your body the rest and recovery, you're not optimized to get better. So give yourself a few days off and watch what happens to your physique. I used to train 6 days a week. Now I train 4 days a week. I train 4 days a week now with much more intensity and I make a lot more progress. Guarantee you that. So if you're struggling to grow muscle, 4 days over 6. Game changer. Now, nutrition. Cut all the processed shit. So there is processed shit like the chicken slices you put in your bagel. Processed shit like turkey rashers. I used to be a big fan of turkey rashers because I don't really eat any bacon or pork. I'm not a big fan of that, so I used to eat turkey rash instead. However, that one hurt. I had to get rid of it because it was processed. In order to make that bit of food, they're having to get all these trans fats and shit in there, which is not good. So we want to keep it natural. Healthy fats, steak, eggs, salmon, avocado, olive oil, butter. That's all getting you really, really good fats, great amount of calories, and it's really, really going to boost your testosterone because that's what healthy fats do. They boost your testosterone. Throw that in with some kind of chicken, fruit, veg, rice, bit of tuna, fish, all of that. Do you see what I mean? Very, very healthy food that's going to allow you to hit your calories. You can hit your calories whatever way you want, but in an ideal world, you want to be hitting them from clean foods like this, as opposed to going for a McDonald's or a Domino's where your energy is going to suffer, and as a result, your brain is going to suffer. You're just going to feel like shit because you are what you eat. So don't eat shit. Very, very simply, everything au naturel. We keep it nice and clean. Take it a step further. When you get your eggs, you don't get any of the caged shit. When I was at uni, I used to do this, and my mate had a go at me. I used to get caged eggs because they were cheaper. I think this was during Corona. There was an egg crisis, and I was like, I want as many eggs as possible for the gains. And I wasn't ready to fork out an extra quid per 10 eggs. But now I look back and I go, you're a fucking idiot because those caged eggs are so bad for you because they're just literally pumped full of shit to keep your chicken alive for as long as possible. That's what it is. So organic, free range eggs. That's what you want. And when it comes to your steak, when it comes to your butter, grass fed, the highest quality of food, because again, you are what you eat. If you eat the highest quality, you will have a better life and you will increase your testosterone, which means you will have a better life. Do you see what I mean? And the final one, which I found hard, was cut out the pints. Less alcohol. Alcohol destroys your testosterone, like destroys it. Why? Well, let's just look at the two facts. One, dehydrates you. Once you rid your body of water, it cannot function. It's the worst thing you could possibly do, and you are not going to feel good. It's not going to help with muscle growth. It's not going to help with anything. So you really need to relax on that. And also, if you're spending a lot of time hungover, you're not going to eat clean food. You're going to ignore all this shit. You're going to go Domino's. And it's an endless cycle. It's a vicious cycle. It keeps going. So it all comes back to one point. You want more test? No pints. Less pints, at least. Once a week. No, not even once a week. Really, really bring it down. Try to cut it out at all. I'm on dry Jan. I'm going to do the whole year, ideally. Once a month, maybe. We'll see. Now, supplements. You'll notice that supplements was the last one. These three matter. Number 1 was sleep. Number 2 was training. Number 3 was nutrition. Maybe nutrition comes before sleep, but it's in this order. A lot of people look at supplements like the cure, like they're the fucking silver bullet, but no, like the magic is in these three: sleep, training, nutrition. And that's with muscle growth as well. Like, stop fucking looking for the best supplements for muscle growth. Get these right, and then you can look at supplements. But there are certain ones we do want to look at, and you'll notice that vitamin D is the top. So for anyone who lives in the UK where the sun is non-existent, you're going to be wanting a lot of vitamin D. Now, I went online and got the highest dosage, which is about 10,000 IU. Really good. You can normally get 4,000 from your Holland and Barrett. By all means, go for that. But I think fuck it. You're not going to overdose on vitamin D. Go for it. I've been recommended it. I feel good. I feel great. And the point is, vitamin D is really, really important. It's why we're eating steaks, why we're eating the eggs. Very high in it, and it's something we're all very deficient in. So, increasing that is going to help with your muscle growth and it's going to help with testosterone. We talked about zinc and magnesium for sleep quality. Really, really going to help your sleep quality, which has a knock-on effect. Vitamin C. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not very sure about the increases, in testosterone with this, but it's something I take every morning because it is just a great supplement to have. It really boosts your immune system. And I guess if you think of it that way, it boosts your immune system, which means you can train more. If you can train more, then you grow more muscle. Whereas, as opposed to the time you spend in bed when you're ill and you don't make any gains or you eat shit. Do you see what I mean? So, vitamin C, great. I'm sure it does increase testosterone as well. Cod liver oil, bread and butter, we're all deficient in it. You don't eat enough fish. That's the bottom line. Have your cod liver oil, great for the brain. Creatine. Creatine. I'm going to explain this very, very simply, but I'm sure you understand it. Creatine gives you more energy. If you have more energy, you can lift more. If you can lift more, you get stronger. If you get stronger, you get bigger. If you want more muscle, creatine. If you want to lift more and then gain more testosterone by lifting more, take creatine. Really, really good supplement. Probably the best supplement you can take. A legal steroid. Take it every day. Doesn't matter what time you take it, as long as you take it. It's a long-term thing. It's not a short-term thing. You're not going to take a fucking scoop of creatine and, just be massive instantly. It's going to be a 30-day thing. Finally, this is one I learned recently, but it's absolutely fucking amazing. It's a great, I think it improves your sleep quality. 4 eggs before bed. What this does is very simply increase your cholesterol. It increases your cholesterol, which increases your testosterone. You need cholesterol to produce testosterone. Now, you'll notice that a lot of this stuff I'm saying is against the norms. I'm big on salt as well. Everyone fucking hates salt. Salt is really good for you. And increasing your cholesterol is also good for you. But the problem is if you're very fat, you're not healthy, and you're not going to the gym, and you're not even interested in stuff like this, then it's not going to help you, right? You don't want to have a bad heart and cholesterol. But if you are lacking in testosterone and you are wanting to build more muscle and you're wanting to become that better person, then it is in your interest to increase your cholesterol. And eggs do this. 4 eggs before bed, proven to improve your sleep quality as well. And it's just a great way to get an extra 300 calories before bed. That is everything I did, okay? And it all fucking works. So, I mean, do the same. It fucking works. I will get some proof and show you. But if you are struggling with any of the prior symptoms, which we talked about, where are we? Low energy, low confidence, low muscle mass, low sex drive, low fat loss, no competitive drive, then you need to increase your testosterone. And how do you do it? Follow and implement all of these tips today. That's everything for today, lads. That was the first video. I think that went well. I'm going to try and keep these every single day. Just little nuggets of information where I can become useful. And hopefully this helps someone out there, which means you can help another person and keep getting better. So that's everything. I'm going to call it a night. Nice one, fellas. Take it easy, and I'll catch you in the next one.